I have been very moved by reading the story of Adoniram Judson. Perhaps you've read his story. Great American missionary to Burma, pioneer missionary, frontier missionary, took the gospel where it was not known before, born in 1788, great American missionary to Burma. Adoniram Judson fell in love with Anne Hasseltine, and he wrote to Anne's father, asking for her father's consent for the two of them to be married and to pursue a life in world mission in Burma, and knowing that this was full of great danger. I'm going to read to you the letter that Judson wrote to the man he wanted to be his father-in-law. Imagine receiving this letter, everyone who's a father. I have now to ask whether you can consent to part with your daughter early next spring and to see her no more in this world. Whether you can consent to her departure and her subjection to the hardships and sufferings of a missionary life. Whether you can consent to her exposure to the dangers of the ocean, to every kind of want and distress, to degradation, insult, persecution, and perhaps a violent death. Can you consent to all this for the sake of him who left his heavenly home and died for her and for you? For the sake of perishing immortal souls and for the glory of God? Can you, sir, consent to all this in the hope of soon meeting your daughter in a world of glory with the crown of righteousness brightened with the acclamations of praise that will redound to our Savior from heathen who will be saved through her means from eternal woe and from despair? Can you consent? What would you have said in response to that letter? God gave me two wonderful sons. And as of just 3 weeks ago, I now have a wonderful granddaughter. What if 20 years from now, God were to bring a 21st century Adoniram Judson into her life? I hope I would say, yes! What about you? Dietrich Bonhoeffer famously said, when Christ calls a man, he bids him to come and die. That's a direct reflection of the words of Jesus that we just read. If anyone would come after me, he must take up his cross and follow me. What does that mean? It means simply this. Taking up the cross means that you consider yourself dead already. A person who's taking up the cross, they're going to the place of crucifixion. I'm as good as dead if you're carrying the cross. That's what it means. And this is at the very heart, friends, of what it means to be a Christian. You died, Colossians chapter 3, period. And your life is now hidden with Christ in God. And if you count yourself truly to be dead already, it follows that all that you have has already been released. That's what happens when someone dies. The owner dies. And what you once, quote, owned is now in the hands of God. It has already passed from you. So if you count yourself dead already, if you're one who carries the cross, then you will not be going through life saying, now, what am I going to do with my life? No, that question is already past. A Christian is a person who's already given that up. I died. No, the Christian asks a new question. What does Jesus Christ want me to do with the life he is giving me? That is an entirely different question. What is the best thing that I can do for my God? That is a different question, and it leads to a different life, a radically different life. So what is the best that you can do for your God?